Hello and welcome to Top of the World. If it's your first time, I'm Simon. This is my shop. Now if you're a new viewer or a new subscriber and you've come here to watch an all-action snowploughing video, this isn't it. In fact, there's very little action in this video at all, but this is a long video. And it's me whittering on about a load of old rubbish and building something that I really need, and it's quite in depth. The other thing about this video is, somewhere about, I've been ill for a while, somewhere in the middle of the video I'm really quite ill. And then somewhere in the middle of the video I do something quite extraordinary because I can't get the attention I need. I can't, anyway, I actually remove my own denture implants. Plate, bolts, blood, skin, pus, the lot. I'd been sick for a while and I knew I was sick. There was just nothing I could do about it. Anyway, so there's parts of the video, that you know me for a long time, I haven't got any teeth at all. Because my teeth were extracted because of infection. The denture implants I had to extract because of a major infection, and now I have my own stick-in plate teeth. Am I embarrassed about all of this? No, not really. I just didn't think you want to see me try and talk with no teeth. Anyway, so you can't see it just there. I tried to cut it up a bit, the video, because but I can't cut it up too much, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. But there was a lot of me waffling in it. So it could be a video of an hour plus of just, some of you won't be interested. And I don't mind that because, boy, have I got some interesting videos coming. Some footage, the cameras. I've got more footage that I know what to do with. Now I just got to learn how to edit it. So edit it. I'm still having trouble. Anyway, off to the action, or not. Let me show you what my plans are. So this is my dump corner, and it's been like that for 7 or 8 years. Right? It's just, anyway, I keep my copper pipe down there, I keep my flat materials down there. Now what's changed is that most of the internal works upstairs is complete, which means I no longer need a junk corner, because this is where all the materials have been sat. Then sit here all summer until winter came, and then I would turn the materials into whatever it was I was doing upstairs. But I'm 98% complete upstairs. The building has been 100% replumbed, 100% rewired. Upstairs, it's all new. There was no, other than lights when I came here, there was no heat, there was no water, and there was no electricity upstairs. And the lights upstairs were powered from some kind of nickel-covered cable wrapped in wax paper. Yeah, most of the electrical system was some kind of nickel-covered wire wrapped in wax paper. That's how they made the electrical cable here in the 1940s. Bit worrying, really. Wood, sawdust, wax paper, electricity. Yeah, anyway, that's all up to code now. All of that's been removed and everything has been wired up to code, and we have heat everywhere, and everywhere is pretty much restored. Like I say, trims and Charlotte's wardrobe. Okay, so I want a bench in the corner here, and then I want cupboards above and cupboards below. And the bench is for general working and for tools. And then on this wall, I want to remove the small machinery that we've got here, and I want a bench running along there with cupboards above and with cupboards below, and I can finally get all my tools out of that junk corner, which is supposed to be my turning ring. So, oh, and then that. I want to replace this too. So that was built in situ in the 1980s. And yeah, again, it's pretty much a junky area. It's not really used. I've got my battery chargers. Anyway, so basically I need to make a bench along that wall, a corner bench in this side, a new bench along here, and I'd like a new central joinery bench. So the idea is to go out into the factory, measure up for everything I want, write it down, go out into the factory and start machining birch. So the temperature in this room is actually quite good because the temperature outside is good. So this is my stack of winter wood that I've brought in. I can go and get more if I want. This is all birch cut from the last few years that I've had outside drying. And for those of you who've been around for a while, you've seen the birch worktops I made in the kitchen. Stunning. Not quite world class, but not bad. Well, I want the same quality in my shop downstairs. Because if it's good enough for Sarah to be up there prepping food and cooking on, it's good enough for me to work off of. So, from about halfway, all of this is birch and all of that is pine. And this is, oh, there's some fir in there. This is for framing and for cupboards. And then this is for worktops, doors and drawer fronts. What is making that noise? That's my circulation pump vibrating. Whew. It's a little bit pungent. That is my central heating pump vibrating. How's your worm farm, Simon? Yeah, good? Good, just put some shredded paper and some chicken shit on top there. It always smells nice the first few days. This is kind of my nursery one. That's always been my main, for my main worms. And then I started this about 3 years ago. Anyway, they both produce worms at some point. I've got, anyway, this video's not about worms. Right, so we're going to measure up and we're going to crack into that pile and start making our boards for our worktops. What's he waiting for? All his, look at that. So he got sent a couple of these from my friend Heath. Right, he sent them all the way from the US. Right, very lucky dog. This is the last one of these. When they get outside and they get in extreme temperature, they split, don't they? Okay, just by the sheer nature of the way the wood's come out, this replacement bench is going to be the first one that we do. Got it in half warped and twisted, thankfully. I can pull it all straight. So, this is what I've now pulled out. I've used the big overhead planer there to get them to that rough width the same. Now, each pair of these, you know, makes a single length. Because it's a machine bench, it's got to be 800 wide, which is what I've got there. And 800 wide and 4.6 metres or 4,600 millimetres in total length. So what we're going to do with those now is we're going to take those and then we're going to machine them through my thicknesser on the width first, or the depth of the board, because then they'll be lighter and easier to plane on the width. And whilst they're going to vary in widths, the two pieces that join together obviously have to be the same width. So we're going to machine them in pairs. We're going to machine them all together on their depth, and then we're going to machine them in pairs on their width. Right, machined up yesterday. Took a long time to get that lot machined up. Now, boy, is that going to be a difficult one to put together. The twists and the winds. Anyway, we just love working with birch. No. But it is a workbench, right, or a saw bench. The other problem I've had is I use so many of the joining biscuits doing the worktops upstairs. I didn't reorder any more. So I'm short a bit, really. But I got to get this together. These really, they need 3 days stuck in clamps to glue them properly. I'm also going to put supports underneath like I did on the upstairs one. So I've made the longest one first, which seemed to make the most sense to me. It's the most difficult. Now, something I got left from a job over here, which have been here for years and years, is I've got, well, they're for cabinets, but I've got these. Now I need a few of these for a bedroom wardrobe, but these are large drawer sliders, heavy duty ones. So I think I can make a couple of large heavy duty drawers that slide in underneath this bench that house all of this stuff that I kind of like that it's there. I don't really want to move it, it works. But all this under here is just... Have I done the carburetor on the generator yet? No, I haven't. I need to do that. Anyway, so that bench is going to replace all of this. And then with new... I'm just going to take all this out and do it all again from scratch. Now, this is what I'm short on. I don't have enough. You want to go out? It's not that cold today, -6 or 7 or 8 or something like that. Where's all the snow, Simon? Gone. It's just been replaced by ice. It's all been replaced with ice. So that's my junk out the way. So I haven't seen this corner since March 2017, because when we moved into this building, for those of you who knew, this was a old school. It'd been disused for 20 years, and it had been a wood shop from 1979 is when the school closed down. 1980 is when it was bought from the commune, municipal council, and then it was slowly built into a wood shop. I'm not quite sure when it stopped operating, but it had been, and it was only this level. The rest of the school upstairs had been closed off. The cellars were that anyway, and then it had been, no money had been spent on it in all that time. So from 1979 to 2017, it had just been used. So I filled this corner when we moved here with all my stuff, and it's just generally, I've not seen in here. Obviously you can see there's the old blackboard, except it's not black, with all the pointers and stuff. Now I've started stripping out what was put in for the extraction system. This room used to have machines in, and it had an extraction system all the way around. And it's bothered me for all this time. I've had much more important things. Why has it taken you from 2017 to 2024, the end of 2024, to do this room, Simon? Because we needed somewhere to live. We didn't have enough money. I didn't have any money. Anyway, so all we had was this place. So then my idea, there was 2 big classrooms upstairs, same as there is downstairs. One classroom there, one classroom here. My idea was to turn the classrooms into living accommodation. I'm going to try and take it down as level as I can, because of everything that's going to be in it. Whew. And the huge mess it'll make if I let it tilt. Oh my god. Oh, nasty. These are all the old windows from the school that I've rebuilt and replaced, or where I took windows out and removed glass. And this is all the extraction pipework that's come out of that one room. All of that's covered in this fine dust, and all of that was full up. So we're going to go and store that somewhere carefully, because at some point we're going to want to uprate this. I just can't use the big pipe. I can use the small pipe, but I can't use this on the size extraction units I've got in any way, shape or form. So that's pretty much redundant here. What we're going to do in the future, I'm not sure. So I'm kind of going down a different route. So I've done the basic framing of the bench, and it is really basic. There's a lot more got to go into this, and I have two trains of thought. I should put everything else in first, for the drawers and the cupboards and the floors, but I'm not going to. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to form the bench top. And the reason for that is I've already changed my mind as to what I was going to do. I was going to use the old worktops from the kitchen on here, but the other worktops are all going to be new worktops from the Birch. So that would make this one the odd one. And this one I want to make the joinery section. This is where the joinery tools are going to be. This is where the screws and glues are going to be. And why have I spent all that time and effort upstairs making everything nice, and then I take shortcuts in my own shop? No, it's probably not a good idea. And because I haven't got the necessary things to make these in slabs in the factory, like you've seen me do with all the others, I'm actually going to try and make them in situ, because they're so badly twisted, because obviously the only thing I've got is the birch, which I've cut. Now it is 2 years air dried, but it's still warping and twisting. So yesterday I cleaned up all the legs. I'll take you in there and show you those. And I'm actually going to try and form this, and then glue it and screw it and make up the entire bench in situ, as opposed to making it up and then clamping it out of situ. I don't know how that's going to go, because everything points towards that not being the right way to do it, but that is how I'm going to do it. So I've arranged this framing purposely so that I can screw the boards down from underneath. So I'm going to glue them and screw them. That's obviously on the angle there, because I'm going to screw across the mitre joint. So it doesn't make much sense at the moment, and you might think, well, that's awfully heavy framey, Simon. Yep, it is, and it's because it's got to hold that birch top straight. It's also, the bench is also going to form a walkway, because I want to take the pigeonholes up to the top of the wall. Give you a bit of perspective on size here. So we want to use as much of that space as we can to try and ease the pressure on that mess there, because that's just been like that, because that's the way it is. I'll put the first one on, which is a small board, which is going to be partially covered by the wall that's got to go here with the plug sockets in it. So the first full board, you can see what I mean here. I've just laid that one in, how twisted all this stuff is. So this was the wrong size. It wasn't, it's just not fitting in the corner nicely. Anyway, I've just planed that down again. So now I can pull these out, drill the framework to be screwed from underneath. I did put screws in through the surface at the back here, but you're not going to see those. So, right, so then what I do is I drill down through all of these, glue it, put them into place. The biggest problem was getting that first one square, getting this one to sit in there completely square, because obviously, as I've said 1,000 times before, there isn't a single wall in the whole of Sweden that's square or plumb. None of them that I've come across in any case. So and these are no exception. There's the run out on that one, and this one also runs out because it is only wood and it is all built on sand and it does all move and it is old. Okay, so now we'll screw that one and glue it and then clamp it and pull it down. Nice grain, but what a fight I had. What a fight I had trying to pull them this way. Obviously screwing them down, getting them flat wasn't bad. Wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. But getting them pushed back or pulled back against each other, that was hard. I had some open joints slightly. They've all been filled in now with birch dust and glue, and now I've just got to let it sit and wait for everything to come back before I can start cleaning it out, which means now I've got that in there, I can go back to forming the cupboards and the drawers and everything else I need, and the substructure, if you like, which is going to be slightly more difficult now the top's on, but it does mean that I can leave the top there for, I don't know, I'll give it 48 hours before I start working it. And then it's not as easy to work it when it's in situ as it is when it isn't. But because they were so twisted, that's the way I've decided to do it. And I think that will be the right way to go. So here's my shelving, my drawer components. I've got to put a groove in for the base of the drawers, and I've got to joint them. So I've got an idea for the bases. We've still got a lot of that recovered material from the airport 2 years ago. Come on, B. Yeah, that's back. Stuck thermostat. So, the shame about this is I did a hour run up without the front bucket on and the hood, and the thermostat is under the bucket, under the hood and under the diesel tank. Nice. Right. So, what I've got in the woodshed, which is one of the few things I've got in the woodshed, you know, if I'd have known the winter was going to be like this, we could have gone for demolition of these two buildings and started prepping for the new one, couldn't we? Anyway, we didn't get there. So, in the old woodshed, that's not going to be here much longer, I have all the sides of these big crates we got from the airport. Ply. Some of it's delaminating, but some of it's good. And I think these will be good enough for the drawer. I can get 2 bases out of each sheet. What's he doing? Don't eat the yellow snow, bee. Don't eat the yellow snow. It's not as tasty as you might think. This is slightly thinner stuff, and that's the thicker stuff. So I think we get some of that in with a quick sand. That'll come up all right for the underside of the drawers. Right, I've kind of cleared my bench. I've got all my components and I've sanded down all the bases. Could I have sanded these down till they were bright white? I could have done. Put some lights on there. Oh no, that's the other way around. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's the underside. Not going to see that. That's top side. Bit of stain on that and some tools in there. Won't matter. That's where I am. Okay, all we got to do now is assemble. Now, I haven't got dovetails on the end of these. No, I haven't got any joints on the end of my drawers, drawer components at all. All right, there's a reason for that. Okay, let's put these drawers together. I'm sure that's going to be a fight in itself. And ain't it a shame I can't finish the job because I only had 5 pairs of runners and I ain't got no drawer runners for that. Why have you only got 5 pairs? Because they came in a pack of 5. Anyway, so this is the idea, and the idea for those is all my joinery tools. See? Now you're going to say, well, that don't fit, Simon. Well, yeah, it does. So that's the idea of these drawers, is so that all my tools can now go away instead of sitting on their cables. Anyway, why have I built them like that? Well, they've got to have drawer fronts. And drawer fronts are going to be larger than the drawers. Could I have dropped them down to the floor and then made a smaller drawer up here? Then I've got to bend further down. Right? Whereas at the moment, so the older I get, the worse my back is getting, the more I can't bend down so much. I don't need them any lower than that. That's good enough. Okay, let me explain what I've done here. So behind the tongue and groove, which I pre-stained because it's going to be darker than everything else, I put these that were cut off to this height. And I machined up these thick birch shelves and I put them on and screwed down through them and then put these on top and screwed that. That means I've got a big shelf there that will take a lot of weight that doesn't need any support. Cantilever if you like. And then over the top of this I'm going to put another 2 pieces of tongue and groove which I've already stained, because this is where my charge sockets or my plug sockets are going to go. Up on the shelf I can cut holes and put them in there, And then this here will be my level of my cupboards going up. So this is basically squeezed in, screwed down, and then have these on top, so that I can put all the batteries and everything of weight on here without needing to have any kind of shelving support. Along with many other things, what you don't see is the hours and hours and hours that go into prep and sanding. But I don't want this to get any more marks or damage on it, so I'm going to start sealing it up with a hard wax, not a stain. Now, as I've said before, when you're using hard wax, you put it on very thinly and then add multiple layers. So this will probably have at least 4 coats over the next couple of days. I'll allow 24 hours between each coat. I'll give it 4 coats, and that'll give it the perfect finish, and that'll be resistant then to waters, oils, everything else. It's not resistant to hammer marks, obviously. Yeah, Okay, that's coming. I like it. Good job. Okay, it's a few days later because it's been snowing for 3 days straight, 4 days straight. Anyway, we did a clean up yesterday, and then I finally edited that video, I don't know, around 2 AM this morning. But I got some updates. Right, I took the liberty of ordering the last pair of drawer runners. Do I remember them being this expensive? No, but they are industrial grade. I don't know why I thought my daughter needed industrial grade drawer runners for a wardrobe. Really? I'm not. Anyway. Then I got some cheap from, well, it's got Germany on the packet, right? They weren't made in Germany. Well, maybe they were. Maybe there's more Chinese in Germany than there is in China. Anyway, the big thing is sockets. Now, bear with me, right? I know they're white. They are white. And I needed plug sockets and also USBs so that I can charge stuff up here. And they are white, and there's a reason for that. I'm hoping, like, they pop quite nicely on the wood, but that's not why I bought white. I bought white because nobody else wanted white, and they were half the price of the exact same thing in all the other colours. So, I got white. Anyway, I'm kind of hoping they're gonna, but I don't know why they were half at that. I mean, they look quite nice. So, we're gonna fit power. At least we've got power on the bench. I've now put 4 coats on this, which is quite good. I know what I'm going to do with the drawer fronts and with the bit underneath. So what I'm going to do is pop in these last drawer runners and fit the power sockets. I'm in limbo this morning. It's still dark outside. Has he taken very well to his chair being moved? Not particularly. Anyway, it's still dark outside because it's only about 7 o'clock. And, oh, sorry about the wobble. It's only about 7 o'clock, but I had to get up extra early this morning because I needed to clean the furnace flues and the furnace itself. I haven't done the main stack. I've done what I call a half clean, which is all the pipe work to the bottom of the main stack, the back flues, and then the furnace itself. And that's about, so last year and the year before, I've been using a sootening powder, a copper-based powder, and you chuck a scoopful of this into the fire, and it dissipates all the soot and turns it into nothing. I couldn't get the original made in Sweden stuff that I wanted, so I bought a cheaper alternative from the Jungle Company. And what they say is you need to use twice the amount that I was using before. What I was using before looked like copper sulfate. Right? It looked like copper sulfate. This doesn't. Looks like it's got a lot of chalk in it with a little bit of copper sulfate. Anyway, so I've been doing the recommended dosage and using twice the amount, and it doesn't work. It's not like it nearly works. This, whatever this is, does not work. Does not do the job. My flue was all furred up, and it's only been 2 weeks since I did the last clean, and I've been using this stuff on every light, and you have to use twice the amount, and it doesn't. It's so frustrating. I can't imagine how many people get angry with low grade bad products every single day because nobody gives a shit. And I tell you the difference between people that give a shit and people that don't, right? Highly profitable companies don't give a shit. Companies that constantly struggle or never make it, they give a shit. I know this for a fact, right? Absolute fact. I don't need to go into any depth as to why I know this, but I've had other companies over the years, and the more highly skilled the workforce, the more labour intensively involved the product, the higher the client list, the less profit you'll make, if you ever make any profit. And there's so many examples of this in history. The best companies never make any money because the people within them, it just takes time and nobody can really pay for the end product. Chippendale, right? My favourite furniture manufacturer. It's a classic example. He and his force produced the best furniture in the world by far, although arguably there were one or two French companies. Yeah, they were actually. Anyway, the really fine furniture came from England and came from France. There might have been one or two other places in Europe, but and well, now I've seen some 17th century Russian furniture too. Anyway, so but they all died in huge amounts of debt. They never made any money because of the craftsmanship and the time that went into the product. They couldn't. Well, I've gone way off tangent. I've gone way off tangent. If you do a good job, it's very hard to charge the right amount of money for it. If you make a good product, it's going to be really expensive. People like me then are going to seek a cheaper alternative, and they're cheap for a reason, right? They're shite. Rubbish. Yeah. So I couldn't get what I wanted, right? As opposed to driving to town, which cost me even more money and time, I went for a cheaper alternative, and it's no good. So I'm pretty devastated, really. Anyway, tool runners and electrical sockets while I'm in limbo. Right, that's all the sockets prepped now, ready for me to do the final connection, and they're wired in series. So you got 3 separate sockets, and then light. Oh no, then you want the light. And then you wire them in series. 1, 2, 3. Earth, negative and neutral 2. Earth, negative and neutral 2. Earth, negative and neutral, and the mains is coming in this one. Could come in any one of them. But then they're wired in series. Let's attack common sense while we're at it, shall we? I'm making a mad dash to town. I say mad, right, as mad as it can be, because it's warmed up a bit. It's warmed up to minus 20 Celsius. And did the van want to start? No, not really. It didn't want to start. I haven't used the van in 3 weeks. Yeah, I reckon 3 weeks. It's been sat there. Anyway, it didn't really want to know. It did start, but it didn't really want to know. And I've got to go to town to pick up some parts for that tractor for the thermostat stuck and the gaskets and stuff. Anyway, like I say, it's warmed up. Going there, I might as well go into the merchants, because I'm running low on glue and I'm sticking all them benches together. Long lorry. I'm sticking all those benches together, so we'll potter our way into town. In our frozen wasteland. can't actually remember exactly where we got up to, but I'll show you where we are now. So I fitted the trims and the doors for the bottom sections and the doors for there. I'm going to show you kind of what I've done and why. So these panels on the bottom, I put them on with magnets. And that's so I can utilise the space underneath and slide heavy things underneath there. And I've got something very particular in mind, and that's the spick, nails. Right, all the nails, I've got big boxes of heavy nails underneath there. Anything else heavy that will fit under there, I can slide under there. And they're all the same, they all come off the same way. I'm going to put handles on them, but I've got the things there so that when I put them back in there, I can adjust them. How am I going to get the doors open? And I'll put the doors on there, and I've got all the hardware there for them. I've kind of changed my mind. The reason I've changed my mind, I'll show you, is I ordered these, and yeah, it's like everything that you order online. Anyway, well, you can just listen by the, right, it just, anyway, but I've got these left over from the other job, from the cabinets I've been doing, which you haven't seen the video yet, or you might have seen the video by the time you've seen this one. What's happened with my finger? I've got a story about that. Anyway, so that's the hardware. So, with those closed, I've still got the ends to do, but the ends are going to come up. I can put wax on those now, and they're finished. Because I can't open the drawers, well, I can open the drawers. You have to, in order to open the drawers, yeah, pull one of those out, pull the bottom of this one, no, pull the bottom of that one, and then pull the bottom of that one, and you can get the drawers open. But anyway, I'm going to put a wax coat over all that. Sure, I showed you doing the electrics, putting the plug sockets in. So this here, whilst it's now got all the stuff on top of it because I've been doing this, this was all camera equipment and batteries for days and days and days. Is it still snowing, Simon? Oh yeah, because all I've been doing, today's the first day I've been back on this, all I've been doing is ploughing. It's all I've been doing. Just constant ploughing. Anyway, today's Sunday. Don't need to plough today because it's not deep enough yet. Right, so put some wax on it, put the drawer handles on it, and then I'm ready to move on to up here. I have, there we go, pump. Do you know what, I suppose I should say something about this. Okay, my central heating pump is failing, and I've known this since last winter. It's making a noise and it's going to fail. Just when I managed to save up enough money to buy that pump, he hurt himself. Yeah, you. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah. Well, he hurt his back, being a loon. So there went my pump money to the vets. All of the pump money went to the vet. Anyway, so what happened after that? Oh, then I moved the cabin job, and I saved the money out of the cabin job to buy the pump. Then what happened? Something else happened. Anyway, I had to spend the pump money again. So I finally got my invoice in, my payment in for the tractor. Right, that's my pump. My tractor money is my pump. The pump is purchased. Okay, that has left me in a bit of a state because I've had to buy all my diesel up front for the first 2 months because I'm 60 days out on my invoicing. It has left me in a bit of a mess. However, this month I've had 73,000 views. 73,000 views on my YouTube channel. And that, by way of advertising revenue, has just covered half the cost of that pump. Half the cost of that pump. So, for all those of you that have watched my video, thank you, because you have helped me pay for half my pump. So, whilst I haven't been paid for that yet, because obviously I'm 60 days out on that, or, yeah. Anyway, it will help me going into January, because January is looking, you know, it's tight anyway, but it's not good because I've had to... Anyway, so why is the pump line there not fitted, Simon? Well, because we're minus 24, 25 outside, I have to shut down the central heating system. I can isolate the old pump. Is that a straight swap? No, it isn't, because I couldn't get the G20 flanges on the fittings, or I could, right? I could buy the big round flanges. What do you mean, Simon, big round flanges? Well, let me show you. Right, these. Okay. So here's one that's been welded. Right, onto that. That's a flange. But because I've only got 180 millimetres from there to there to fit the pump in, this is a 180 millimetre pump. Right, I obviously can't use that because I've got this. Right, and what I actually wanted was just flat flanges, right, but bigger, which screw straight onto there. Right, and you can buy them. You can buy them. Right, yeah, that wasn't even a thing. I can't. A couple of round bits of steel that are machined with a thread in. We're not even going to go. So, I think I got this brass fitting. Right, this is a G20. No, it's not a G. Yeah, it's a G20. It's a G25. Let me just check. I'm sure that's what it was. Right, always going in the darkness. Right, it's a G32. It's a G32 to a G35. Right, standard British pipe fittings, obviously. So, that, when I take off the flange that's on the heating system downstairs, this is going to screw onto one end. And when I take off the other flange, that's going to screw onto the other end. Right, and then I can put the pump in. Anyway, I'm surprised the pump is still working. But like I say, I've got to have the system cold and I've got to have it shut down for as long as it takes me to do the plumbing and the electrics. And what we're doing with this pump, right, I've deliberately got a single phase pump. Now this pump, right, I've got to tell you, right, it's a reasonable size. It will shift 8 cubic metres an hour. That's 8,000 litres every hour will go through that pump. And that's what I need. That's at its maximum. Can I turn it down? Yes. Anyway, the reason I'm putting a plug on that and putting a socket on the wall is because underneath there we have the generator. Right, a lot of you know I've got the big generator outside. That's not operational yet, though it could be if I really had to make it operational. But that can go down in the cellar. Do we get power cuts? Oh, yeah. When we got a power cut and I've got the furnace alight, I'm in trouble. Right, it's all going to boil over and explode, and it's just a nightmare. So I've got to have emergency power. So I'm putting on the switch on the wall. I'm going to bring it down, put a socket on, and then put a plug on the end of that pump so it plugs into the socket. But also, if we lose power, the generator will be down in the wood room. I can pull it out, start the generator, run the pump, save the day. What happens, Simon, when you're not in the building and the electricity fails? We won't have a building when we come back. So I've said it once and I'll say it again. I cannot be more than 2 or 3 hours away from this building at any point during the winter. Right? I can't. Because by the time I get back, we'd lost the building. Shopping, going to town, it's a nightmare. Got to rush there, got to rush back. It's just how it is. Anyway, there we go. Sarah did night shift last night. Sarah went to bed at 5 a.m. and I got up at 5 a.m. And that's how we have to keep it, you know, keep the furnace alight rolling through the extreme temperatures. Anything below minus 20, as in minus 20 to 0, right, you can let it go out for a few hours overnight, depending on how warm it is, depending on how long you can let it go out. Anything below minus 20 to minus 40, it has to run 24 hours a day. and you have to load the wood. Can you load it every hour and a half, 2 hours? If you load it really well, yeah, you can get away with 2 hours. Anyway, back to where we were. So, why did I switch from this to the pump? What was I? I don't even know what my thought train was. Oh, right, cabinets. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this in 3 equal sections, but I'm not going to build the centre section. I'm going to build the first section and the third section, and I'm going to make the middle section, right, between the two, and then that will just leave one more section there, which I haven't even measured up for yet. So that's the best way of doing it, because I can do it in shorter materials that way, as opposed to having a length of timber or many lengths of timber at 3.2 metres, right? I'm now at 1.93 meters, 1,093 millimetres, right? If you want to convert that into imperial. Anyway, it's what it is. What's that? 3 feet to a metre. So I'm 3 foot 6. 3 foot 6, 3 foot 6, 3 foot 6. And it's a lot easier to get 3 foot 6 or 1.93 meters, 1,093 millimetres. Let's stay in millimetres because I work in millimetres. It's a lot easier to get the sections I need in the widths I need out of shorter boards, and it stops the twisting. Because I kind of cheated here, right? I'm sure some of you will notice this is laminated and it's already started to twist. Already started to twist, and I've had a nightmare with the doors. One of the doors has even got a gap on it now, which it didn't have. They just want to wind. Even though I know how to laminate, laminating's an art in itself. You put one curve one way, I know all this. I've been laminating for years. One of the few formal pieces of education I've got is timber structural engineering. I went back to college for that because I needed to know my wind loading and snow loading on structural laminated beams, because I used to build log cabins over swimming pools. I used to do a lot of things. But before I went into the real high-end 1% stuff, I built log cabins over swimming pools, all in wood, but we had big laminated arch beams, huge things. Anyway, I can calculate all those. So I know about laminating, and they're just curling. It's just low quality. Anyway, it's all right for a tall bench, which is what this is going to be. The idea of this will be all my hand tools and my power tools, screws, glues, everything to do with the joinery department is going to be in this corner. this opportunity to thank my subscribers the last 4 years, those right from the start, and all the new subscribers that have come on since. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for all your kind comments, and thank you for your continued support. I wish you all a very, very happy new year. Thank you all for watching. Bye for now.